Alright guys, welcome back. Tonight, I've got the Honda Metropolitan, aka Honda Scoopy, up on the stand because somebody broke it. For those of you that are unfamiliar with this bike, the Honda Scoopy, you can catch up with the build series up above here. But for those that do remember, this bike is fitted with the rolling wrench EVI CDI coil combo. Now what's that mean? That means that the rev limiter and the speed limiter have been removed. All that means is this little bike's factory 56 km/h speed limiter no longer applies. Now you might be familiar with Newton's third law. For every action there is an equal and positive reaction, and we've now had a reaction. This little bike was built for my wife. Let's just call her Mrs. Scooter Bomb. Now I encouraged her to hammer this bike for a good hour up and down hills between 70 and 90 km/h. She gave it an absolute thrashing. Let's just say there may be some damage. A demonstration. She's a bit rattly. Alright, so the Honda Scoopy is a fair bit rattly. In this episode, we're going to try and figure out exactly what's wrong with it. So I know what you're thinking, but there was no danger to manifold and the floor pan did not fall out, as this is not really NOS, it's just a fluffy toy. But what I'm hoping is it's something really simple and maybe just a dead spark plug. So let's go ahead and pull the spark plug out. What? Oh my god. Could that simply have been it? The spark plug boot wasn't even really on. It was just dangling on top of the plug. Let's reconnect it and see if the bike will start. Sadly, it wasn't going to be that simple. It is still running like a bag of dicks, so it wasn't the spark plug. My gut feeling is we have a main bearing failure, but it could also be something else. So we're going to drain the oil because we need to do that anyway, and we're going to look for coolant in the oil or oil in the coolant, which will indicate a head gasket failure, because this little Scoopy or Metro is obviously water cooled. So let's drop the oil, and then from there we'll pull the motor out and see what's what. We're this close to getting this guy out. We've got the rear shock absorber and then the main engine hanger, and hopefully we can lift the frame off the motor, and then we can really see what's wrong with this engine. Let's get to it. Aha! That is one Honda Metropolitan, aka Honda Scoopy, motor out. Alright, we've just taken the variator cover off, and I don't know if it's very obvious to you guys, but to me there is something that's definitely wrong in this area, and I'll just show you. So we've just seen the last clip with the belt jammed halfway down the variator and halfway down the clutch. Now obviously that should never happen, but was all this just caused because a jammed open variator? Yeah, it was, absolutely. I fear that is the only thing that was wrong with this motor, and I've just pulled this motor out of this little bike for that simple reason. Now, this here is a good roller. I'm not sure how well it shows up on screen. And this here is a bad roller. Can you spot the differences? It turns out two of the rollers were like this one, with sleeve protruding out and jamming the variator open, leaving these other rollers, these good ones, to simply just rattle around inside, probably vibrate, make a whole lot of racket, and appear the engine is absolutely dead. Now when I look at the variator cage itself, these rollers can get so high up in the cage that they could sit there and vibrate and the harmonics could shake that sleeve out. Far out. Now when we drained the oil, I didn't find anything in it. There was no shavings, there was no coolant, so that side of it all seemed absolutely great. Now if I put the variator cover back on and I rotate the engine, it is super smooth, there is no noise, everything seems alright in there. So it would appear the motor is actually okay, and that was the problem all along. I just pulled a motor out for absolutely nothing. I'd be keen to know, has anyone else out there had this similar issue with these Polini high-speed variators and rollers? Because that should never happen. And there you go, it's just back in. From here, we've got to put the motor back in, reassemble everything, put the variator back in, the rollers back together the way they should, and then fingers crossed that vibration is gone, everything is good, and I don't have to pull the motor out again to rebuild it. But I do feel like a bit of an idiot. Alright team, little Honda Scoopy is now back together. Everything is done, wiring, everything except for bodywork, and of course engine oil and coolant. So we're going to chuck some oil in it, we're going to chuck some coolant in it, and fingers crossed it starts and the problem has been resolved. It's all back together. There's only one thing left to do, and that's see if it works. And when I say if it works, I mean, is that noise all gone? So we'll give it a go. Turn the key, we should hear the fuel pump prime. Alright, that's done. Push the starter and fingers crossed it starts, and if it starts, that noise is all gone. I'd say that is a success. It looks like the problem has all but been resolved. A little bit frustrated because I probably didn't have to pull the motor out anyway. So from here we're going to put the bodywork back on and then take it for a test ride. Okay, we're on the bike. I gotta say, I feel a little bit stupid that whole issue was caused by a stuck open variator. Now I've been riding bikes, scooters for about 15 years ago now, and I have never seen a variator stick open like that. I wonder if it's just something from Polini and if anyone else has had that issue as well. I gotta say, I feel a bit stupid, but at least the bike did get a nice oil change with it. So here we go, we're off and riding, and this little bike absolutely rips. So if you guys haven't seen this bike before, you can watch the build series on this up above. This was a junk scooter that never ran, and we fully restored it back to this. It's got the rolling wrench EVI CDI coil combo, which removes the rev limiter and the speed limiter. Okay, so the little bike's fixed, everything's back together and working as it should. I don't know about those rollers though, I'm very disappointed, but anyway, I guess you get that from time to time. I'd be very keen to know if anyone else has had a similar issue with the Polini rollers, where the sleeve separates from the roller and jams the variator open. Alright guys, if you like this, hit that like button, subscribe. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.